What's up, everybody? We are live.
Um,
Welcome to the roundtable. Hey, first person to send a comment in, Caroline Hale. She says, "Hey guys, I can only stay for a short time because I have more important things to do than to listen to you three jerks."
oh, geez.
But no, she said we're doing our thing and we're getting noticed by the right people, and she's basically giving us a shout out. Hey, thank you, Karen.
Kevin Samuel's death. This was something that was, it's not a mainstream thing, and I think we had a little conversation about that earlier. There's some conspiracies with some people saying that perhaps there was some foul play.
First off, I'm pretty pissed at all the criticism, especially are coming from black women about his untimely death. Using words like it's karma, all these things. But this is mostly coming from people who didn't pay much attention to him because he gave rather harsh criticism. We're just not used to that now because we have this liberal free for all mentality where no one needs to be accountable for anything. It's gonna hurt their feelings. The same kind of harsh criticism he gave men, no one cared about it. Women were saying, "Oh, this guy, he shouldn't be criticizing black men." And people call in from all over the world. They get the straight truth, no sugarcoating.
And here's
And
the thing about that: it's
yeah,
voluntary. Like
totally voluntary.
you call in on your own. These people were really upset because they were saying that Kevin Samuel had taken advantage by humiliating people.
Like there's certain protected classes in the modern America, right? When you're talking about black women in general, which Kevin Samuels was doing, he was holding black women accountable. He was really trying to help people. He was trying to guide people in the right direction, from whatever his perspective was. So I think that's something he should be remembered for and given account for.
That's that old school kind of instruction. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the great grandfather's love. He didn't love you by telling you he loved you. I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of us, we grew up and our parents rarely told us they loved us. I mean, the
Right.
actions, the actions kind of spoke and said everything. The sacrifices. But this whole Kevin Samuels thing is one of the most controversial celebrities, I guess you can call her, was Vivica A. Fox.
I watched the video with her, and these other ladies, critiquing the Kevin Samuel situation. And what strikes me as really compelling is that here he was, a polished example of a black man who took care of himself and was kind of leading by example. But yet everybody's all up in arms when you got somebody who's like a scumbag who happens to get into a confrontation with the police. And then we got protests and marches.
There's a lot of people who are trying to collectivize things so that you can't talk about individual accountability for behavior. To me, that's like those people don't really want to help people.
Hey, didn't we grow up hearing people say the truth hurts?
Yeah.
There was a lot
Right,
of
what?
things like that we heard people say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
And the
all the
society's
time.
moving towards this thing where you can't tell people anything that's hard.
Which is why, like, by today's standards, if I were coaching right now, I told the kids the truth. Like, I told them the reality of what consequences they would face if they deviated from the things that they were supposed to do. Look, Nathan and I were roommates at the time when I was coaching. We were in our early 20s at that time, and I wasn't afraid to tell the kids because I was basically like 6 years out of high school, and here I am, damn head coach of a high school track team. I would say more than half of those kids that I coached like came and thanked me for telling them the truth.
There has to be order.
Got to be order.
Back in the days, I remember those strict teachers and those strict men of authority that kind of demanded you to stand up straight, or they would take your
Right.
hat off when you walk into a room and your hat was still on.
Right.
And I can't separate this connection between men and that kind of order. And I think masculinity is one of those things you can't just talk about it. We talk about lip service and people just pretending to be a certain way. Masculinity is hands on.
We live in a society to where no one can take any form of criticism. God forbid anybody's got a coach that actually gives them the business. From all the coaches that I had throughout my athletic career, that they didn't like tell me that I was worse than the dirt, and I got through it. And I needed to hear the truth because that was actually what was going to make me a better athlete and a better person.
Remember Shahrazad Ali?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
who
Do we have
basically was saying
any
the
clips?
same stuff that Kevin Samuels was saying, and she
Mhm.
was saying it nice,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
they still hated her.
right.
So
But
it goes back to this thing where it's like it's perilous to try to criticize black women, man. He stepped into something that he knew he was stepping into.
right.
He was aware of what he was doing, and he still had the courage to just do it. In trying to help people, you got to tell them tough things. That's what he did, and he gets a salute for that.
All these Kevin Samuels haters. A lot of these ladies would come on and show, they got 3, 4, 5 kids. What are they doing with the baby formulas? Nobody can afford anything right now. And baby formula is tight.
But with that going on, and then they're talking about a food shortage, and on top of that, we have the inflation, and also when it comes to interest rates, they're going up, not just for homes, but your credit cards. So you may want to consider paying your bills as quickly as possible before it gets really crazy.
That's a good point.
So we also have Johnny Depp. Some phenomenon's going on. We have Johnny Depp. We have the slap, but we have Kevin Samuel. Everything was bubbling up to a head until the pendulum kind of swung too much in the other direction. And now it seems like men can be attacked and women can kind of like hide in shadows and kind of get away with it. And it's not just that, it's political as well. The left seems to get away with all kinds of stuff. You know how much evidence they have from audio to video? Like literally video. I mean, we talk about quid pro quo.
And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. We're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired.
Somebody's being favored, and that's why I've said it before. The left or the liberals remind me of women. The conservatives remind me of men. They have to be on their toes. They can't mess up. They're held accountable, that sort of thing. But that causes you to become better.
Right.
You have to check your own character. It's almost like after the civil rights movement, white people had to check themselves because everybody's antennas were up when it came to racism.
I talked to my mom. She's a child of the 60s, and she actually said to me, she's like, Jeff, I realized that I've been programmed since the 60s, and it's just each generation gets the appropriate programming that goes back. It still falls under the larger umbrella, but it's the series of programming that actually leads down the same detrimental road. Eventually it's like we're all being herded into an assembly line like cattle, and we're just waiting to go into the machine to get our heads chopped off.
Can you imagine from like 2016 to now the drastic ways in which people think, like all these leftist ideologies, men going into little girls' bathrooms?
There was a post in the group early on this week. It was by a Russian former KGB agent.
Is it Yuri?
Yeah, Yuri something. I forgot his name, but it's definitely in the group. I think the title of it is the modern political situation or something like that. And he kind of breaks down how something about America in that it's a free society. So because it's free, all kinds of other countries can send their propaganda here, and we just kind of accept it. But in countries like the former Soviet Union, communist China right now, if you were to attempt to send like Time magazine over there and it's promoting like a culture that they disagree with, they're just going to block it and ban it. Andrew Breitbart, before he passed away, he made this comment talking about how politics flows downstream from culture. The politics that people have is basically a result of the culture of those people. The kind of policies, the kind of politicians that they have, all of that results from the culture of the people, right? And that's in a healthy society. But what I think has happened is somewhere in like the 80s and 90s, it became this mantra saying, don't talk about politics. Like it was at work, at school, if you went to the bar, socializing, people just like, don't talk about politics. And I think that wasn't an accident. I think what's happened is like both parties now, kind of like do this thing where the culture, and more so on the left, the left is basically based in this, I've noticed. The culture now flows downstream from the politics, meaning the politics is shaping what the culture is. You got this endless stream of issues like talking about LGBTQ, we'll just bring it up. It's like granted they may have more issues of marginalization, and being left out or not having proper representation. It's less than 5% of the population, and this issue shot to the mainstream because it's a political football. It's like these things are all resulting from politicians, and then the people are then adapting to these things and then embracing them. Like if you talk to people, a lot of these issues aren't really important to them. But once they're brought up into the mainstream media and the news, there's this thing that's happened where people just are like, all right, now this is important to me. Like all of a sudden people like Ukraine, like people don't know anything about Ukraine when you talk.
The Saul Alinsky book, Rules for Radicals, kind of an instructional guide to infiltrate. It's not the only one at that, but to kind of motivate people through psychological means. Like a lot of people on the left, the greatest psychologists in the world, or the most renowned ones, they work for the college, the Ivy League college, the highest level colleges, their programs, their psychological programs, and they know how to motivate people and stimulate people in certain ways. And I think society, we don't consider how advanced these techniques have become.
I was reading an article this week about like in the Middle East, how they're reacting to TikTok, because they're starting to see, a lot of people have phones now, and you're starting to see like farmers in like Afghanistan watching TikTok videos. The culture over there is a very masculine one. People are starting to react harshly. They're starting to say like, if you're a man watching TikTok videos, like you need to just, stop, because they see how it's damaging their culture. These guys are guys who are serious people. They're dealing with serious issues in their country.
Prepare to die in a sea of holy fire. You will be punished for your decadent ways on the first day of Radaman. Wait a minute. Did I just say, what did I say? Radaman? Blah, 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 blah.
And they're watching videos about cats. And it's just, it seems like a small thing, right? But it's like they sense it because they still have remnants of that culture where men could tell men things that were harsh.
Yeah, this is get all serious now, okay? Death to I can't do it. Oh, come on, now you're just trying to make Hey, wait. Look at Robert Chicken, I should do like the whole tape with this in my hand, just totally like with the chicken right here, because everyone would be like, what the hell? What is death to Americans? Right? Just let him do it.
What's happening to them is like they find that they're standing on sand, like they're standing in sand, and they're constantly, they never have solid footing on anything. That's what tradition and all that stuff is about. It's like giving you a solid footing in the world and making you a person who, like, this is what so-and-so done, and this is why he did it. And this was the thinking behind it. We should put more value in a lot of those things and less value in like all of this new stuff that hasn't been tested, and the people who are promoting it don't know what it will result in the long term.
Well, before you go on another like college lecture worthy response, it is dope though, by the way.
This guy be trying to.
He's just mad because he got khaki shorts on. Everybody knows. You don't see it.
You see that?
You can see your boat shoes. Boat shoes, no socks.